You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Today, I'm going to talk about creating a community of customers. And I've talked about this before, but, that's been a while. And certain subjects you need to go back over. Because especially in this time of automation and a lot of jobs going out, people still need communities. Because even like channels like this, some of the bigger channels are really communities. You have a community of people, especially like when you think about different hangouts and stuff. That's a community of people. But that's actually a business thing, because look at the YouTube content creators who have, they get donations, they get AdSense money. They might be dating coaches who get consultations. But the key to what they're all doing, what we're all doing, because I'm basically doing the same thing, or like people on Patreon, you creating a community. You have a community of customers because people want to interact. They want to be around like-minded people. Like if you look at, since I mentioned dating coaches, like the PUA community, like regardless of what somebody think about it, that's actually a business, and that's actually a community of customers, right? Or in really that whole concept, I first heard that at a gym I worked at. Like one of the managers said, this is a community, and when you look at it, that's what it is. You have people come in there, there's a certain pecking order, people deal with each other a certain way. You're creating a community, and that's an important thing for businesses. Now, like a coffee house, a good coffee house could be a community. Especially if you do, you have events and stuff. Because I was aware of this one, it was a bookstore. It was a bookstore / coffee house. They would have karaoke and, different events and everything, workshops. And they made money. In fact, that's, and I've probably mentioned this before, when I'm older, don't want to run around as much, like in my 90s, I see myself creating a bookstore, not even to make money. I don't have money for some other thing, a bookstore for people to come in, have events, people sitting around. That's an important thing. Barbershops and hair salons are communities. That's why they work, because it's not even so much you going there to get your hair cut or your hair shampooed or something style, but you in there sitting around with some other people. And so you actually create something. And that's been why, this is like, especially in the black community, why barbershops have been so enduring. Because as they call it, the black man's country club. Like sometimes I would get my hair cut just to be in the community. Right? I would get, even though I can cut my own hair and I can do it very well. Sometimes I'll say, I'm going to let somebody else cut my hair, just so I can be in that environment. And think about that, like I mentioned, a hair salon, barbershops, anything that you can get a group of people to come to. Like, since I deal in relationships, I'm familiar with a lot of people who've created communities out of relationship discussions. They'll have different people come through and they'll discuss different relationships and everything, or have different topics. I mean, one of my best seminars was actually with a community like that. And in fact, I did, they were in the DC area, young, mostly black professionals. And I did three workshops with them. And, it was a built-in audience. And, you can make money like that. Some nightclubs are like that. Bars. The neighborhood bar is a community. If you really think about it, if you think about that whole Cheers model, and that's dating myself. It was for some of the older folks, Yeah, that one character, Norm, he came in, he was such a fixture. As soon as he walked in, everybody just called his name and they hang out, right? But what you're doing is keeping people coming back. And that's a concept I learned, that's actually a concept I learned from some people who worked in the early days of the internet. message boards and everything. You had people that would just come back, keep coming back. And once you create that community, they also bring their money. So it's like something to think about, something to think if you can. I mean, of course, all businesses don't lend itself to that. That's a thing. All businesses don't. It's that's something more. Some retail stores might could get away with it depending on how they do things. Usually like sole proprietor shops or single owner shops where they in the shop most of the time. They usually create a community around them. Or like I remember this bookstore that was in the DC area, Caravan Books. The brother may rest in peace. I mean, it was a community. It's more of a community in there. People would come in there and you would just chop it up. And he's part of the reason why I wanted to. I see myself when I'm like in my 90s chilling, having that type of thing where people can just come in there and talk. But that keeps business coming in and everything. That keeps people coming back, right? And I think that's the thing. Now, like I said, some business, if you're a plumber or something, that doesn't lend itself to a community. Well, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, ultimately, don't think you have to create that thing, that community, for whatever your vocation. Your vocation simply might not entail having that type of thing going on. But if you can, that always works. If you can create something, coffee house, coffee house, gym, yoga studios. That's a community. In fact, I've seen communities created with one gym. I mean, of course, this was a corporate thing, but one of the instructors in there had such a following that she actually created a whole community. I mean, you had women that would come there just to follow her, And actually, I know another guy who worked at that same gym. He has his own fitness company, like boot camps. He runs boot camps, and that's a community. Anything you can do to bring together people. Because the thing is, no matter what, people want that. People want to connect. People want to connect with each other. And I think really that whole concept, that community concept, is why gyms are exploding. Because in this day and age of, especially in America, a lot of Americans are overweight. It's an epidemic all the way around, and it's unhealthy. But you have so many people into their smartphones and doing stuff that they just want to interact with people. Shoot, there's even something I think about. It's even something, even though I make more than enough money, I'm at, every now and then I consider like maybe getting a part-time job at a retail place just to interact with people. Like support, I don't feel like dealing with customers, but just to interact with some people. Because even the work environment, like any work environment, can be a community. Right? Because, I mean, even though, there's issues with sexual harassment and stuff, people still going to fraternize. And not necessarily a romantic thing, but people they're going to get into each other's lives and stuff. Or if you have, and let me use that as an example again. I mean, you not so much creating like a retail store or something like that. You really you can still create a community among your employees. Like, a company culture is very important. And some of the smarter corporations, they'll do stuff with their people, have parties, get-togethers, stuff like that, just to engender even a community. Like, so it's not even just for the customers, even though that's the title, but, just for your workers. Make them feel like they're part of something. And I've been in those situations. It makes things, you can do the hardest work easier if you feel like this is a family. You really can. Because that community thing is just that important. It's just that important. So that's the thing. If you're thinking about what type of job to get into or what type of business to start, think about a community. A community of people. Even if, whatever you can. If you can. Like I said, your vocation might say you need to do something else. So, yeah, and I want to keep pointing that out because, as I said, we still have, this issue with automation, jobs going out, but there's some things people still going to need, no matter what. So anyway, that's it for today. Let's go make that money.